Hello. Awesome. 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 We are here. Finally here. So yeah, thank you for making our time to jump on today. Um, it's it's a break us for our training tomorrow. As I said earlier, my name is Namdi. I'll be your facilitator, and I am a managing partner with Secure Lab. So what we do wellness. For us, is four pillars: spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, which is also mental wellness, and we also deal with physical wellness and, of course, financial wellness. So we believe these four pillars are the four pillars we need as a people um, to to function, to function, to function. So that is what we believe um, in Acne Lab. So tomorrow, the course, 3 day course, which we are hoping to get it to the course so we can make the content into um, the 2 days or 3 days, and it's mastering the act of thinking. This is obviously based on my own training and study years of Brian Stacy and Jim Ron. I see Jim Ron as a mentor. Of course, some people like people like John Maxwell has also written about how this successful think. But this particular teaching will be, I mean, it's similar to be honest with you, but it's going to be a blend of what Brian Stacy's approach and Jim Brown's approach. So on the first day of this training, we'll be looking at the architecture of thinking, the architecture of thinking. Thinking is like building. You've got to build the picture in your mind. You've got to build the blocks of thinking. Just done. Obviously, that's why so many people are not where they want to be in life, and especially not only in finances area, but in family life, in their health, in many other things. Why? Because they are not thinking right. Going to look at the key concepts um, in this architecture of thinking. So we're going to talk about thoughts um, as a structure. We're going to look at the five levels of a man's thought. When I say a man, I mean mankind. So we're going to look at reactive thoughts, reactive. So impulse, something that you just react. But, something happens, it's not called, it's, it's impulse, it's a reactive way of thinking. Go deep into that, see what reactive um, thoughts are. We are going to look at practical thoughts, practical thoughts. That is thoughts of survival. When someone's always thinking survival, that's what we um, call practical thoughts. Then we're going to look at reflective thoughts. Reflective thoughts. I know most of us know these anyway. Um, I believe it's in the doing that we get stuck, and that is why Kila are always here to make sure we hold hands. It's not just the 3 days training we have done, but we will also have a mentorship program where we can hold your hands and help you until you start having those results we expect you to have. So I've talked about reactive, practical, reflective, and then of course, the reflective thoughts is more analytical. It's where people think more about something before they respond, before they act. Then we'll look at strategic thoughts. That's the fourth one, strategic thoughts. That is where we talk about um, um, thinking properly, planning, putting things in place, and in modular form, so you can achieve what you want to do. Then we're going to talk about vision, visionary thoughts. Every leader has to have a visionary thoughts. And don't forget, we are all leaders. Leaders are not some special people. Everyone is a leader in different capacity. So visionary thoughts is something everybody must have. This is talking about being creative, being purposeful in your thinking. You know, your brain is like a multi-story building. Most people live on the ground floor. Your brain is really like a multi-story building. Most people live on the ground floor. Reactive thoughts is that PER, a set of people that live on the ground floor. Reactive thoughts. They just react and they think things that are not structured. People that live on that multi-story building ground floor are the category of those that have reactive thoughts. This course is your elevator to the penthouse of your visionary thinking. That is what we hope to achieve with every participant in this 2 or 3 days course, depending on the way you look at it. I'm going to have some workshop, work group, because workshop and work groups for attendees. We have prompts, um, that will get you to write, to actually be not just again passive participant, but an active participant. We're going to ask you to write 5 most recurring thoughts you have, maybe for the week, for the month, maybe even for a longer time. What kind of thoughts is always coming to your mind? Ask you to classify those thoughts into just the different levels we talked about just now. So these are some of the things we will be doing tomorrow. Classify those thoughts. So by the time you get doing these things, you'll begin to reflect um, on if you've been thinking right or wrong. What thoughts must you break to rise higher? So this is in the time of reflection. We're thinking of that. We're going to be discussing um, that, of course, not necessarily we discuss that general. Like I said, we will eventually do these things as a follow-up in our membership um, class. Are we still here? Let me see if this is. Uh, we did not go live on Instagram like we planned to do. Let's see. Just give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. One. I thought we were already live on this, but we are not. So just give me a second to. Right. Okay. So yeah. So so that's about that for day one. The few other things we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'll let you find that out if you register for what they call day two or second section for tomorrow, which we plan to do 2 days tomorrow, and then one day on Thursday. We're going to look at mental mental engineering. We'll look at tools of a technician. Don't forget, we are hoping that this program or this course will get you to a place where you become a thinking technician. Just the way a technician can fix things, you can actually fix your thoughts. And don't forget, as a man thinks in his heart, so is that man. It's a general global principle. As a man thinks, so he is. So if you want to be rich, again, it doesn't start from your pocket. It starts from your mind. Actually, wealth is not something physical. Wealth is something intangible. Wealth starts from the mind. It's the wealth in the mind that builds the tangible things you see. The same way you want to build a house, as an architect, you don't just build a house. You think about what you want. You get an architect to design what you want. So you see it in your mind, and then you put it on the paper as a drawing, and then eventually that paper is built in the physical, becomes a structure. So the building does not start when you see the building started in weeks or months or every day, and or in the mind before it becomes a building. That is what we are trying to get you to understand to start working. So we talked about mental engineering, tools of technician. What tools? Mental tools. We're talking about observation. Observation is important. Very key. We're going to teach you how to observe. We're going to teach you discernment. We're going to teach you um, how to discern, how to work with your conscience, your inner sense, your third eye, some people call it. Want to teach you reverse think, reverse thinking, thinking poor, reverse of thinking rich, thinking failure, reverse of thinking success. Want to teach you reverse thinking. We will also talk about the outcome based reasoning. Outcome based reasoning. Tomorrow, register for the course and you find out what that is. We'll also also teach you meta thinking. Meta thinking. Um, you know, thinking without tools is like changing a car tire with your bare hands. Thinking without the right tools is like changing a car tire with your bare hands. It's painful, it's unproductive, it's long, it's just a mystery. Hence, we would teach you tools needed to think and think right. Of course, we also have workshops. So we're going to ask you to write down some things, you know, choose a tool and apply it to a problem. We're going to practice. We're going to do something very practical so that when you repeat, it's not just any other training. The training where transfer. It's a training where you can use in any field. You find yourself in the automobile industry, in the financial, in the life and coaching industry, you can use that in the tech industry. As a matter of fact, everything tech starts with an idea. Idea is actually truly thinking. So you can use this skill, transferable skills anywhere in your family, relationship, anywhere in your church, anywhere. We'll also do practical things like what tools you use and what tools you hardly use. Want to try to map your goal backward using reverse thinking. We'll try to map your goals backwards using reverse thinking. So again, there'll be a link to book for your course tomorrow. Um, we're going to also practice outcome based thinking. We'll practice outcome based thinking tomorrow. And finally, on the third day, on the third session, we hope to um, speak more on execution thinking. Execution thinking. So we're gonna try to turn our thoughts into legacy. Those those thoughts you've had before, those um dreams and visions are still valid. It's funny to say someone like Walt Disney when he founded Walt Disney, and he was already an old man. KFC, I think it was 62 or something like that. Some of these chain um, developed established companies you see were started by people older than you and I. Now it's good to start early. And the Facebooks and the Microsofts and the rest of them is still good to start early. But my point is, whatever you are right now, you can start. You can start thinking right. You can start navigating and making sure that your thoughts bring your ideas to life. Don't think age. Just learn how to think right. Think with the right thoughts and think how successful people think or reason. Spend time to build your thoughts as you should, as everyone should. We'll also be looking at execution triggers, so clarity, courage, the phrases I call it, clarity, courage, and consistency. From thoughts to legacy, ideas, beliefs, habits, identity to building your legacy. You've got to start from thinking right, not just having the ideas, thinking right. A rocket that is full of ideas, and let's assume those ideas are fuel, but it only launches with ignition, which is the execution. A rocket full of ideas, but it only launches with ignition. The rocket there are sophisticated, millions and billions of dollars, pounds has been spent building it, but that rocket, with all the sophistication, all fueling, can only take off when there is an ignition, and that is the execution. So you might be there like a rocket full of ideas, so many ideas. However, until you try to execute those fantastic ideas that can change the world will remain an idea and will remain dormant. That is why you need to attend this course tomorrow. We're going to again, as I finish now, I want to talk about execution barrier. What are the execution barriers? What is stopping us from executing our plans, our dreams, our visions? We want to use the legacy ladder to map our ideas tomorrow. The legacy ladder, tap on the internet and see what that is. Legacy ladder to map your ideas. You're going to complete, we're going to do a workshop where we complete your ignition plan. What is the plan to execute? So a lot there for us to learn. So I'm going to try leave the link right here on the chat, and then um, and hopefully we will see you there tomorrow. It promises to be an interesting and life changing session that I honestly do not believe anybody should miss. And if you miss it, you need to go um, attend a session on this, not necessarily with me or with anybody. It is important, it's key, it is um, life changing. So I've left links um, on, I've just left the link also on Zoom, but also on my, I'm on the platform I am on. So hopefully that is there, and hopefully everyone has got it right in real time. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. If you're interested, hit that link and register, and you get the login details, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you.